From the glistening armor of a fish to the formidable plates of a crocodile, scales are one of nature's most successful and versatile inventions. But what exactly are they? How do they grow? And why are they so crucial for survival? Today, we're diving deep into the science of scales, uncovering everything we need to know about these incredible biological structures. 1. What are scales, actually? Let's start with the basics. Scales are not separate pieces of clothing that animals put on. They are, in fact, highly modified parts of the skin itself. Most scales are composed of the same key protein as our hair and fingernails, keratin. Others, like in many fish, incorporate minerals like calcium compounds, making them bony and rigid. Scientifically, they are considered a type of integumentary structure, a part of the body's outer covering system, which also includes skin, feathers, and hair. Their primary function is protection, but as we'll see, that's just the beginning. 2. A tour of the scale kingdom, types and functions. Not all scales are created equal. They have evolved into several distinct types, each perfectly suited to its owner's lifestyle. Type 1. Fish scales, the hydrodynamic suit. Fish scales are the most diverse. There are 4 main types, each with a unique structure and evolutionary history. Placoid scales, found in sharks and rays. These are tiny, tooth-like structures that feel like sandpaper. They are made of dentine and enamel, just like our teeth, and they reduce drag and turbulence, making sharks incredibly efficient swimmers. According to research in the Journal of Experimental Biology, the specific shape of placoid scales disrupts the formation of microvortices, allowing water to flow over the body more smoothly. Ganoid scales, the armor plating of living fossils like gars and beach ears. These are thick, diamond-shaped scales coated with a hard, enamel-like substance called ganoin. They are virtually impenetrable, acting as a flexible suit of armor. Cycloid and Ctenoid scales. These are the familiar, overlapping scales of most bony fish, like trout and perch. Cycloid scales are smooth, while Ctenoid scales have tiny cone-like teeth on their edge. They grow in rings, much like tree rings, and scientists can use these rings to determine a fish's age, a technique documented in fisheries science journals. Function. For fish, scales provide a critical physical barrier against predators and infection. They also secrete a mucus layer that further reduces friction and protects against fungi and bacteria. Type 2. Reptile scales, the ultimate survival kit. Reptilian scales are almost entirely made of keratin. They are fundamental to their success on land. Prevention of water loss. This is their most critical job. A study published in Nature highlighted how the keratinized scales of reptiles create a near-impermeable barrier, preventing desiccation and allowing them to thrive in arid environments where amphibians cannot. Support and mobility. For snakes, their scales are essential for locomotion. The large, wide scales on their belly, called scuts, grip the ground, acting like treads on a tire. Camouflage and signaling. The patterns and colors on scales, from the cryptic camouflage of a viper to the brilliant warning colors of a coral snake, are vital for survival and communication. Shedding. Ecdysis. Unlike fish, reptiles don't grow their scales individually. They shed their entire outer layer of skin, including the scales, in one piece as they grow. This reveals a new, larger set of scales underneath. Specialized functions. The scales on a gecko's toe pads have even smaller, hair-like structures called setae, which allow them to climb vertical surfaces using van der Waals forces, a phenomenon extensively studied in biophysics. Type 3. Pangolin scales, the fortress. Pangolins, often called scaly anteaters, are mammals, the only mammals completely covered in scales. These scales are made of keratin, just like our fingernails. When threatened, they roll into an impenetrable ball, protected by their sharp, overlapping scales. Research cited in the Proceedings of the Royal Society, B. also, suggests these scales help with thermoregulation, acting as insulation to conserve body heat. Type 4. Butterfly and moth scales, the masters of light. Perhaps the most surprising place we find scales is on the wings of butterflies and moths. These are flattened, modified hairs made of chitin. They serve two primary functions: color and camouflage. The vibrant colors aren't just from pigments. The microscopic structure of the scales interferes with light, creating iridescence, the shimmering, metallic colors that change with the viewing angle. This is known as structural coloration, a principle of physics. Waterproofing and flight. The scales create a hydrophobic surface, shedding water easily. They also aid in flight by providing aerodynamic efficiency. 3. The science of growth and regeneration. So, how do scales grow? Fish. They grow throughout the fish's life, adding concentric layers. If a scale is lost, fish can regenerate it, though the new one may have a slightly different structure. Reptiles. As mentioned, they don't grow individually. The new skin and scales form underneath the old layer before it's shed. The marvel of regeneration. Some lizards, like geckos, can lose their tails to escape a predator. When the tail regenerates, it forms a new set of scales. However, studies have shown these regenerated scales are often different. They may be smaller, lack the original color pattern, and the underlying structure is cartilage instead of bone. This makes them a fascinating subject for regenerative medicine. 4. Scales and humanity. Humanity has always learned from nature, and scales are no exception. Biomimicry. The structure of shark skin, placoid scales, has inspired the creation of shark skin surfaces for boats and even hospital surfaces to reduce drag and prevent bacterial growth, a concept explored in materials science journals. Fashion and culture. Scales, particularly from reptiles and fish, have been used in leather goods and adornments for centuries. Conservation. Understanding scales helps us protect species. By analyzing the isotope signatures in fish scales, scientists can trace their migration patterns and diet, informing conservation efforts. The tragic plight of the pangolin, the world's most trafficked mammal, is driven by the illegal trade of its scales. Conclusion. Scales are far more than just simple armor. They are a masterpiece of evolutionary engineering, a multifunctional toolkit for survival. They provide protection, enable movement, prevent water loss, create dazzling displays, and inspire human innovation. From the depths of the ocean to the heights of the trees, these tiny structures tell a grand story of adaptation and resilience. The next time you see a fish glimmer or a butterfly shimmer, you'll see the incredible, science-driven story of scales. Thanks for watching.